Comedy Nation, conquering the world, one laugh at a time.
Good evening, welcome to Comedy Nation. I'm John Fugelsang. I'm very honored to be here on our fourth night. This is a very fun show. I'm sure you'll see as it unfolds. I did this a few times years ago, and then I was asked to come out from New York, and I was very happy to, considering I was last week in Mexico at the Cabo Comedy Festival, because I really just wanted to perform in a society with a functioning government. So, which was great. By the way, our Congress is now polling at 8% approval rating. Anthony Weiner twerking on bath salts is at 12. I mean, Al-Qaeda is watching, just saying, we're trying too hard, dude. Yo, what the fuck? The one good thing I would say from the entire debacle of the shutdown is that we've gotten the comedy gift of Senator Ted Cruz. Although it's very sad, I don't know if you heard what happened to Ted earlier. Apparently he wanted to have Italian for dinner, and his wife wanted Thai, so he ended the marriage. Miley Cyrus just called Ted Cruz an attention whore. If that guy was any more in the bubble, he'd be Glinda the Good Witch. Anyway, so I'm really thrilled you're here. This is going to be a very fun show this evening, and I want to just bring the kids out on stage who'll be part of it. Again, my name is John Fugelsang. That's my real name. I didn't make that up to sound more ethnic and get more work. Fugelsang is an ancient Navajo Indian term. It means lactose intolerant. Although my actual ethnic background is Irish, Danish, German, which means I get drunk, hide the Jews, and look for them. Without further eloquence, our first guest this evening is someone who I'm very happy is on the show. It's her first time doing this with me. You've seen her on Showtime and on Nick's Parental Discretion. Felicia Michaels. Felicia, what's up with you?
I've been trying to not watch the news. I've been so engrossed with the whole Ted Cruz filibuster. You know, when he did the filibuster, that was very exciting. He went all night.
Yes.
And it was the first time he went all night and said the F word, and the name Ted Cruz was all in one kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I heard in hell, Satan actually pulled Strom Thurmond out of the pit of fire ants to watch a 21-hour filibuster, just like Strom used to do against civil rights. So, yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I think he's great. I think I think Ted is a gift of comedy. I do.
I think too. That and Bruce Jenner.
Well, I mean, I'm crying on the inside. I mean, Bruce Jenner, he can't stop getting humiliated by this.
Well, you know what? He's about to break a new world record for a man with a facelift that got the most pussy.
That's true. But the price was having his testicles in a mason jar by Chris. Well, thank you. I'm glad you're here.
Glad to be here.
Our next comedian is a very funny gentleman. He's on TV all the time. I actually had the privilege of doing shows for our troops in El Salvador and Honduras not too long ago with this man. Yes, we still have soldiers in El Salvador and Honduras. The drug war brought to you by you. Willis Turner. Willis, what's up? What's up with you, Willis?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. She's cute.
Beautiful women.
Yeah.
Look, I'm just getting over that trip from El Salvador.
And what are you working on now?
Now I'm actually working with a group called Creepy Caress.
Mm-hmm.
We are doing sketches and being funny.
And scaring white people. Yes.
Exactly.
That's good.
That's actually what that's how I got the deal.
Yeah.
I got to scare all the white people on the show.
That's an important activity, and I'm easily scared. Our next comedian is someone who used to do this show a bit, and then she went away, and she rejoined us last night because she's been living in a place that she doesn't really blend into, but she's one of my favorite comedians, Kay West. Kay, tell her, yeah, the black people stick together. I get it. Yeah. It's okay. We got you surrounded. Look at the room. Kay, tell the folks where you're living now.
In Texas, in God's country. That's where I live.
Yeah. How's that working out for you?
I feel like I'm reliving slavery. That's what I'm
Do you blend in easily in Texas? How are the Bushes? What are they like? Have you spent time with them?
Yes, I actually have. I've licked snaps for Bush, and I'm sorry.
Wow. That's okay. I love Laura. I still like her. Only in America would a librarian marry an illiterate. Okay, coming to the stage next, this guy is extremely funny. I'm very happy he's here. You've seen him on Conan and Comedy Central, the subtle stylings of Gene Pompa. Thank you. Gene, what's up with you?
I just drove in and parked my car out front.
How was that experience for you? Did you meet any nice,
a little stressful,
any
actually.
nice transgendered prostitutes along the way?
I did not. I'm a big fan of the transgenders, but I did not encounter any.
Okay.
We'll see. Hopefully I'll have better luck on the way out.
I'll see what I can do. I have some rupees. I'll slip you. Okay. This next lady is one of my favorites. I've been a fan of hers for a long time. I was once fired from a sitcom that she was on, and she was so nice to me until the bosses fired me. And I got to work with her last week at the Cabo Comedy Festival. Cathy Ladman. Hi, Cathy. Cathy, what's up?
You know, on my way over here, I saw gas for $3.69 a gallon.
No way.
Yes, and I was really disappointed that I have more than a half a tank. So I'm gonna drive around a lot after the show.
That's good.
And then go fill it up there.
Our troops are fighting for your right to do that. That's brilliant. Terrific. Okay, coming to the stage now, one of my best comedians, a guy I love. Everyone loves him. He's been on everything. He was on Seinfeld and Groundhog Day, and he was in Lost, and he was in Eight-Legged Freaks, and he is an Emmy Award-winning writer, and he has his own podcast called Overview. Rick Overton. How are you tonight, Mr. Overton?
I'm great, thanks.
Okay, so here's how it works.
Thanks for letting me stop by.
Oh, it's a pleasure to
Crazy
have you.
neighbor Rick. Hey, do I smell muffins? I hope I'm not intruded on some personal conversation you're having.
Rick is auditioning for the role of Rip Torn in Life. Well, here's how the show works. Every evening has a topic, okay? And every comedian gets up and does a couple of minutes on the topic, and then we break out into discussion and then full frontal nudity. So, this evening's show is about sex, marriage, and monogamy. In my life experience, I found that all three of those things work much better with a partner. I like sex. I grew up in an abnormally Catholic household, an extremely Catholic household. We used to have open casket reunions. And you know, the priest used to say that it's a sin, and I'd be, premarital sex is a sin, and I'd be like, well, it's not technically a sin, Father, if you have no intention of marrying the bitch. I was 9, But to me, I think good sex is God's consolation prize for having to be a grown-up, And if God didn't like sex, he wouldn't make us cry out his name when it's especially filthy. But the problem with sex, as you know, is that sex is the leading cause of families. So, which leads to monogamy. Now, in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, earlier this year, there was a case of the cops who were arresting gay men. You might have heard of this. The Baton Rouge Police Department were going into gay bars, flirting with gay men, bringing gay men home to their houses, and then arresting them under their unnatural sex acts law. Now, this is funny for several reasons. One, the Supreme Court ruled these laws were illegal 10 years ago. Two, what is an unnatural sex act? This is something we've heard many, many times. The last Pope said it. Recently, the chairwoman of the Georgia GOP called gay sex unnatural. Kirk Cameron has called gay sex unnatural, as opposed to white guys having perms in the 80s. it's like gay love exists in over 1,500 species. Gay hate exists in only one. And you have to just imagine Kirk Cameron hanging out at SeaWorld yelling at two male dolphins shagging, "Stop, you're being unnatural!" It's great if you want to be a homophobe, that's fine, but here's my issue with it. I don't really think that gay sex is unnatural, and gay marriage isn't unnatural. I wanted to talk about why don't we consider straight marriage to be unnatural. You see, monogamy is a funny thing. Humans are the only species on Earth that mate for life by choice. Most mammals mate for 1 or 2 seasons and then move on. Charlie Sheen. Okay? And then I looked this up. There's 6 species of mammal that actually naturally mate for life. Foxes, wolves, elephant shrews, beavers, gibbons, and the dik-dik, which is a type of antelope. You don't know that because they can't teach children about a thing called dik-dik in school. And wolves are monogamous. Sarah Palin should know. Those wolves she likes to shoot are monogamous beings, as opposed to Levi Johnston. So you know, I don't really understand. Like, maybe mating for life means humans will bring about their own evolution. Maybe by doing this behavior now, in 100 generations, babies will be born predisposed to mating with one person. It's beautiful. It's possible. It just isn't natural. And that brings us to the difficulties in marriage, because 85% of women in open relationships don't know it yet. Their boyfriends are explaining it in an airport lounge to someone else right now. They're not aware of it. And there's all... Listen, I think, you know, monogamy's hard. It's hard to pull off. If you can make it work, God bless you. But if you can't, whatever works. Life is hard, which... swinging people, that's... My only problem with swinging... I have one problem with the swinging culture, and that's the swingers, those people. Other than that... It's a great... Look, I know 2 Geminis who fell in love and got married. They have a 4-way marriage now. But, you know, my parents were ex-Catholic clergy. They once... My mom was a nun. My dad was a Franciscan brother. They once made a promise to God never to get married. They broke their promise, and so I grew up admiring marriage. And to this day, I do. I think a wedding is the most beautiful gift you can ever give your parents' friends. And I got married after 11 years. My girlfriend and I... Well, I was in a very long monogamous relationship, but then we realized we were just codependent. But, you know, we were together 11 years, and we finally got married because my dad was dying. And it's kind of funny because if you've been with someone for 11 years and you're not married and you're happy, you find out how unhappy that makes the married people. Married people can't stand happy cohabiting people who get along really well and have a lot of... Anytime I went anywhere, like people would just flip out all the... You're gonna get it? You're not married? You're not even married? Where's the precious? They couldn't... Like, anytime I go to a wedding... My own cousins would bum rush my girlfriend out of the goodness of their hearts to tell her how bad she was being exploited by me. Honey, is he being an asshole to you? Baby girl, I will fuck him up. Don't you want to get married? Don't you want your special day? Don't you want to get the one day a girl gets her entire goddamn life to compensate for all the mundane shitty days? Don't you read magazines? And married men are even worse. Because married men, if you're living with someone 10 years and not married and happy... They think you're getting away with some shit. I mean, my southern cousins are like, when are you going to grow up? When are you going to be a man? When are you going to put a ring on her finger and be a goddamn man? When are you going to man up, give her your last name, make her your wife, make an honest woman out of her, and be a fucking man? When are you going to marry that girl and gradually lose all interest sexually and blame it on her ever-widening thighs because you lack communication skills, and blame her for the fact that you're not into her anymore, and hang out in the garage working on your projects all the time, and go to see strippers with your married guy friends and give money to skanky hoes who pretend to find you interesting, and then lie awake every night, pretending to sleep until you hear her snore so you can sneak downstairs and download your porn? When you gonna be a man? Generally, men don't clap for that. So to recap, being gay is natural, hating gay is a lifestyle choice. And one final note to Robin Thicke. There are many, many nice, good girls who love hot, nasty sex. They just really don't want it with Robin Thicke. So, with that in mind, let's get the show started, and let me give the floor to Felicia Michaels.
Wow, you just about covered everything on that last bit there. I I am divorced. I am a single mom, and I have 2 boys, and they are 12 and 14, and they are coming into their own. And my one son begged me for skinny jeans, but not just any skinny jeans, $100 pair of skinny jeans. And it was his birthday, so I was like, okay, I'll get him the skinny jeans. And then he wore them, and then he came up to me, and he's like, Mom, the skinny jeans are too tight. And then he goes, yo, they're giving me a boner. And as a mom, I was like, wow, I must be a good mom because he's sharing that with me. One side of me was thinking that, and then the other side is like, that is some freaky shit that he is sharing that with me. And then he goes, what do I do about it? And I can't be honest with him about it, you know. And I'm a woman. I can't, you know, because I'll ruin him if I'm honest. I can't say to him, go into your bedroom and quietly machine gun it into a sock. But I want to give him good advice, you know, because I'm the person he's going to learn a lot from when it comes to that. I mean, not too much, but I want to give him good advice. And I thought about, like, what do I say to the gentleman that I date, you know, that maybe makes them go soft? So I started telling my son about my hopes and dreams. That works. That works. And he has his first girlfriend, you guys. He has his first girlfriend, and her name is Scarlett, and she is beautiful. She looks like a Scarlet. And then the other day at school, I saw them together kind of cuddling a little bit and like almost kissing, because they're not allowed to kiss because at school, but they were so close. And then she laughs at everything he says. Do you understand what I'm saying? She fucking laughs at everything he says, and he's not even the funny one, you know? And everything is like doing that sexy flip your hair thing, you know? And I'm fucking jealous. I'm jealous because I didn't learn how to do the till I was 23 and drunk at a Whitesnake concert, you know? So the sex thing is just it's an odd thing to talk with your kids about that, and my ex-husband should be talking to my kids about that, but he doesn't because he's super fucking uptight, you know? Like my son now has a phone and is on Instagram, and he posted a meme on his Instagram, and the meme was bitches be hoes, right? And I was all like, that's crazy shit, but I didn't say anything. But my ex-husband got so uptight about it, you know, and my son came up to me and he's like, Mom, Dad's pissed. Can you tell him I'm sick so I don't have to go to his house? I'm like, I'm not gonna lie to your father for you. That's not correct. And when you mess up, you gotta take responsibility, you know. And I've had you and your brother for 3 weeks in a row. And bitches be hoes. I have been a little bit of a hoe since I've been divorced. I'm just gonna, I fucking said it. There, that's right. High five. I've had some fun, you know, because when I was married, we didn't have sex for the last 5 years. 5 years. Do you understand what I'm saying, sir? 5. Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that. But she's like, no, not with you. You. Okay, all right, good. I know, people always think if you're in a marriage and you don't have sex, it's the woman, but it's not always the woman, because it was my ex-husband. He never wanted to have sex, you know, and he would come up with these crazy reasons, like, oh, I feel bloated, like shit like that, and I'd be like, well, just drag your fat ass over here, you know. 5 years, that's a long time. 5, do you people understand? 5, yeah, the bananas weren't safe at my house.
I walk by that fruit bowl at night like, damn, I'm about to fuck that Chiquita up. It's going down to Chinatown. Folks, I don't even know what that means. No, actually, I'd buy those Cuban bananas, you know. You know, right? Those big Cuban bananas, right? No matter how long you cook them, they never go soft, you know. Thank you. Good night.
I love you. Willis Turner.
That's what you love as a black man, to go after a white woman. Look. I gotta tell you guys, I was married. I was married too. I was. This is why I say was, okay? We were about to have a baby. She asked me to burn some sage to get rid of all the bad karma and evil spirits. I did, and she left. Yeah, I got rid of that evil bitch. No, just we were just very different people. First of all, she has a master's degree in psychology. Yeah. Fellas, you know how you feel your woman's right most of the time? My wife had papers to prove she was right. Right? Like when we would go to bed and do what I like to call sleep, and she would call session, I get into bed and she's all, how was your day? Like it was messed up. She goes, how did that make you feel? Like knocking somebody out. Well, that's an action, not a feeling. I'm gonna hit you, all right? It's a transference. Okay, I'm going to the living room. Now you're running away from your problems. I'm like, I don't have any problems. Denial. Now, I gotta tell you guys, I was married to a beautiful black woman on the outside. Yeah. She was white on the inside. We called her blight. Or whack, whichever one you choose. Look. This is why I say that. Okay? I listen to hip hop, R&B, and jazz. That's what I like to listen to. She likes Metallica, U2, and Wham. Yeah, Wham. One time I came home, she's blasting the music with the windows up. I was like, baby, brothers don't want to hear Wake Me Up before you go, all right? You gonna get us kicked out the hood. Because they've already started a petition, and I've signed it twice, so look. And then another thing is I like to cuddle. I do. I like to cuddle. Yeah. Fellas, don't look at me like that, all right? I didn't say I call my homeboy over and we hold each other while we watch the game. No. I like to cuddle because I'm an ass man. All right? You know what I mean? I like it. Woo! You know what I mean? Titties, whatever. Hey, long as you got more than me, that's all I care about. You know what I mean? Because big breasts are too much. It's too much work. It's too much. It's too much. You just sit up there. Hand me the other one. You know what I mean? Then on top of that, right, like she would come up with things for us to do as a couple. That's what I love about women. You always come up with things for us to do. Like one time she came in the house and she was all, we should take fencing lessons. I was like, what? She's all, fencing is a great form of self-defense. I was like, yeah, in 1812, not now. Right? Like, come on, if I'm walking down the street and somebody jumps out of the bushes on me, what am I supposed to do? On guard. Be prepared to defend oneself. Like, on the ground. Pow, pow, pow. Be prepared to give me your shit. Like, look here, bro. I'm not going to kill you. But can you tell your wife to stop playing that Wham? I thought I signed a petition for that. Yes. But the beautiful thing is I got a great little girl out of the situation. I got a little girl. Yeah. Cool. Right. Like, I think every man should have a little girl. I do. Because it brings out a different side of you. Right? Like, my little girl gets me to do things I never thought I would do. Like, she's like, Daddy, put on this tiara. All right, put it on. you know. And I do it because it's my little girl. I do it. She's like, Daddy, let's have tea time. I'm like, all right, let's have tea time. You know what I mean? Like if I had a son, I don't know if I could do that. You know what I mean? I don't know if I would listen to everything he said. Like if my son came up to me like, Daddy, put on this tiara. I was like, what? Let's go play football. Let's go. I'm not homophobic, just saying. My mom's homophobic. My mom's always like, hey, I don't think gay marriage should happen. That's what she does. Me and her get into an argument about it, and then eventually she'll throw my daughter into the argument, right? And then she was like, well, what if they teach your daughter about gay marriage at school? I was like, I don't care if they teach it, as long as they don't demonstrate it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want my daughter seeing anyone take it in the ass. I'll let her get old enough and the government can show her that. Good night.
I wanted a daughter. I wanted a daughter, but we have a son, so we just dress him in girls' clothes, and it's okay. Did you have a hard time being a monogamous husband?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
Because she stopped.
She stopped.
She became asexual.
Oh, wow. So you didn't have monogamy. You had.
I had no sex.
No sex. Yes.
Yeah, and I was tired of being asexual.
Yeah. Is that common?
Yeah, because she was like, you know what? Just take it when I'm asleep. I was like, hey, that's not exciting.
Yeah. Have you met Felicia? Okay.
It's called monogamy.
Cathy Ladman.
You know, my husband actually wanted to come here, but he's at his girlfriend's house. So, well, obviously that's a joke, right? I love to follow things, that have to do with taking it in the ass, by the way.
So that's foreplay, you're saying?
Yes, if actually, I'm with your ex-wife. If I'm sleeping, you can just do just about anything you want. And I think it's very exciting. But I maybe I didn't get the I thought we were going to be talking. I'm like I always have to do things right, And did I get the assignment wrong? And I thought it was like about how it's changed. Oh, it's all of it. That can be part of it too. Okay. Oh, good. Wasn't wrong. And because it has changed. Sex has changed. Look, I grew up in the 1950s. Well, I was born in the 1950s. I basically grew up in the 60s. And, that was when it all exploded, and I went to college in the 70s. And man, if there was a time to not be monogamous, it was the 70s. Because, everybody, even though I slept with a lot of people in college, and I'm not proud to say that I can't name them all. It's terrible. And I can't even remember some of their faces. It's just awful. It's as if I were kidnapped by the Taliban or something. But I could never, even during the 70s, I could never sleep with more than one person at any given time period. I didn't ever sleep with like 2 or 3 people in bed together. Forget that. I'm from Queens, and the borough, but if I was sleeping with someone, I had to have that relationship with him, and then when that ended, I would go on to the next serial person, and that's how I could never do it, because if I was into somebody, I was into somebody. But there are people who I guess can do it, and it always baffled me. It always baffled me. Honestly, and I'm not being flip about it. I don't get how people do that. I think there's something wrong with that. I mean, I really feel like if you're doing that, then you're lying to somebody. Do you think you don't agree with me? But all right, clearly you have a problem. But okay. But now, and then cut to now. There were certain ways. The ways you can meet people to have sex with now. I mean, it's crazy. I get these messages on Facebook. I want to see if I can find it now because I don't want to oh yeah, here it is. Okay, private message. In fact, I got this one twice today. Okay, it says, "Compliments of the day to you." Okay. I don't know anybody who speaks like this, even in a Henry James novel. Compliments of the day to you. I am Christina. Christina. That's how it's spelled. Christina by name. I am single, however. However? I mean, is there something that's implied in the name Christina? That means, although I am named Christina, I am single. Excellent command of the language. How are you? No question mark. A bonus comma, however. Hope you are fine. There's now absolutely no punctuation. I went through your profile and I read it and took interest in it, comma. If you don't mind, I will love to know you much better. Please, I will like you to send me a mail on my private email. M-A-I-L, not a man. A mail on my private email, and then she gives it. And if you're interested after the show, I will give it to you. So that I will tell you all you needs to know. All of a sudden, she's like some blues singer. About me and more pictures of myself. Aha! Now we're getting to it. It's the pictures. I do believe distance and color will not be a barrier. I don't even know what barrier, okay, between us. Hoping to read from you. Thanks, my sweetheart. And God bless you. Best regard, Christina. Please don't reply to me through this site. Write me directly at my email. Oh, God, it's, I can't wait to get home and write back to her. I just can't wait to start a relationship with this person. I feel there's a big future in it. So, I mean, these are just some of the ways that you can develop a relationship with people and, just fuck everyone you meet, basically. I mean, that's the motto here. Okay. Thank you very much.
Seriously, I don't want to upset you. That bitch wrote the same thing to me.
Oh.
That's awful. Yeah. Anyone else? Who else has been on the Christina train? Yeah.
So, you.
Oh, that whore of Babylon.
Hang on, I got this great Nigerian prince.
I do want to correct you. You got to realize that sex is a very beautiful thing shared by two or more people. Gene Pompa.
Well, thank you, folks. Me and the old lady, we have a policy that if we fight, we won't go to bed mad. That's our big policy. If we fight, we won't go to bed mad. And then recently, we got in this really gnarly argument, and we didn't sleep for 2.5 fucking months. But I'm evolving as a male. I used to be a player, and now I'm not, because other players ask me not to play with them. But for instance, a few months ago, there's this very attractive woman. She's slightly intoxicated. She propositions me for sex. And I go, look, I can't. I'm married. And she said, I know, I'm your wife. I go, look, I don't give a shit who you are. I don't fuck around with married chicks. I've never cheated on my wife. Honestly, I've never cheated on my wife. and I'm not proud of it. It's not for lack of trying. I'm just not a fucking closer. A while back, I was dating this Cuban chick, right? I'm Mexican American, and I'm dating this Cuban chick, and she's giving me shit because I didn't speak fluent Spanish. I tried to explain to all my grandparents, came from Mexico to East LA, like in the early 1900s. My parents' first language happened to be English. And I meet her dad, he gives me the same grief. And I said, you know what, ask him how come he's been in this country for 30 years and he still doesn't speak English. And he said he was busy working 3 jobs to support his family. And I said, well, let him know if you learned English, you've only had to work 2 jobs. And he said, get the hell out of my house in perfect English. And then her and I, we had a baby, we got married, we bought a house, then we got divorced, then she got the house, and all I got was this fucking joke. We were having trouble in our sex life. Went to go see a sex therapist, and she recommended we incorporate the use of sex toys. Now, I don't know if you ever use sex toys, but they're not really toys. Any household item will work. So her favorite sex toy turned out to be a tube of toothpaste, right? Now, it worked out great because now, for the sake of a better word, like her squack always smells minty fresh. And I have 30% fewer cavities. You guys get that one? See, the toothpaste, it reminds me to brush my teeth before I chow down on her box. So, I'm somewhat single again, right? I have to hang out in clubs. Too old to hang out in clubs. I get insulted a lot. Like, I'm too dense and decrepit to even know when I've been insulted. Like, I was in this club, and this girl comes up to me. She's like, how old are you? And I said, I'm 48. She goes, oh, you look 36. I said, oh, well, thank you. She said, I said you look dirty and sick. Oh, thank you. So I have this girlfriend now, right? And I read this article in USA Today. It said that a man's number one fantasy is to be with 2 women at once, right? That's a man's number one fantasy, according to this article. So I told my girlfriend about this article. I'm like, I read this article, and they came up with a really good idea. You, me, and another girl will get together, and then we'll all have sex around the exact same time. She's like, I am so not interested in that. And I said, come on, you please be a good sport. So so finally she goes, okay. She goes, I'll have a 3-way, you, me, and another girl. But afterwards, you better seriously consider proposing to me. So I said, all right, that sounded fair. So we had the 3-way, and then like a month later, she's like, hey, aren't you going to pop the question? And I go, look, I got to be real honest with you. I am not that comfortable marrying a lesbian. Because I'm Catholic, and we're not supposed to do that, according to our newsletter. Never been with a hooker, right? Seriously, never been with a hooker? Like 10 years ago, I'm in Vegas. This friend of mine tells me, I'm with hookers all the time. No matter what they charge, I only offer them $100. Take it or leave it. I always get something. I'm like, cool, I'm going to try that. So I'm at the bar. There's a prostitute there. She's like, hey, do you want to go out on a date? I said, all right, what's the deal? She said, it's $350. And I got all nervous. I forgot what I was supposed to say. And all I could come up with is, I can't because my mom only gave me $100. So being with the same woman now for a little while to spice things up, we have to do a lot of role playing. So sometimes she'll come to the door dressed as a hooker, right? And I'll take her in the bathroom. I'll make love to her in the shower. Then I'll leave $100 on the bathroom sink. Then I'll go in the living room. I'll put on my pimp outfit, and I take the money back. You guys have been great. Thank you very much. Cheers.
This This show has been so political every night. This is fun. Kay West.
Sex, marriage, and monotony. Oh, my bad. Monogamy. I've had all three, just not at the same time. I have this belief that if your net worth is under 500,000, then you get one vagina. Now, if your net worth is over 500,000, you get options. I know, I'm a wife. I know I'm saying blasphemy to all the women, but I'm fucking busy, okay? I'm a delegator. That's what I do. I delegate my housekeeping services to my maid. I delegate my child care services to my nanny. And why can't I delegate some penis polishing?
Hear, hear.
They're all chores anyway. Shout out to Hillary Clinton. Hell yeah, Hillary did it right. Hillary did it right. She said, I have a hard dog to keep on the porch. She knew it. They have the ideal marriage. The ideal marriage in my fucking, the ideal marriage. Because, how can I say this? Finally, a husband did what he's supposed to do. And that's work his ass off so his wife's dreams can come true. The idea of being with someone, one person, for 50 years. I'm sorry. That's what I do when I think of something daunting. In marriage, there's supposed to be love, honor, and cherish. That's what you're supposed to do. And see, I'm a multitasker. I can do that and juggle a couple of other vaginas and penises. I can do all that. Yes, I'm saying I'm a swinger. My name is Kay West, and I'm a swinger.
I want to take back everything I said about swingers in that joke before.
What it is you must be committed to the business of life, of what you want to share with that person. That's what you must do. It's sort of like you're the pig in the ham and eggs business. Okay? The chicken is involved, but the pig is committed. You know, I think the problem is we think things are supposed to last forever. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing. Sorry. Nothing lasts forever. None of our prized possessions, a car like cars. Cars don't last forever. And we spend more time researching how to buy a car and what car we want to buy, more so than we research the person that we're going to marry. And a car doesn't get jealous when you rent another car. I think I want to change my vows. I do. I think I want to change my vows. Instead of till death do us part, how about till you say that George Zimmerman got a raw deal? Then, you know, some things you just can't go back. Just can't go back. Obviously, I'm in a happy marriage. I know. I am married. I wear my ring. I just wear it on the wrong finger because I married the wrong motherfucker. I married a white boy. I know. And Willis, there comes a point in every black woman's life where it's time for her to clear her credit. That's the fuck I was trying to do. I married a Swedish man. I call it original white. That's what I call it. And, marriage, you have expectations. There's expectations. And I had expectations as a black woman jumping with this white man. And I expected to do things like ski. Or even ride a horse. Even though horses are racist. But I still wanted to ride a horse. I know, I digress about my State of the Union. But now that I think about it, I think every marriage should have a State of the Union address. In fact, I think we should run our marriages like a government. Rules and regulations, laws, like thou shalt not engage in other vagina unless I am there holding thy penis. Rules. And most importantly, there are re-elections. And if you piss me off, it is government shutdown.
Felicia, I'm leaving you for Kay. Mr. Overton.
Yeah, save the old guy for last. I remember when sex was fun. To the last day I could move a pinky, it was reaching out for a nurse's ass. And here's the thing about technology is at my age, I'm 59, and that would be when nature used to say, now you slow down a little bit. Well, not with modern technology, you don't. And so even if you're not taking some blue pill to get you somewhere, there's a vitamin, there's a regimen, everyone's messing with their body clock and time curve and everything like that. And so I'll be like really horny, and it takes me a long time just to catch a glimpse of myself, and because I'm still this young hot rod driver until I get a look at the outside of the car. Holy shit, no wonder they don't let me on the track. All the noises I used to make in bed, I now make getting up out of the sofa. I'm like this, I'm like, okay, yeah. Okay, we got, okay, no, wait. Whoa. Slow down, tiger. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Ha ha. Yeah. I love sex. I love it. I love head. I love the sort of the theatrical experience of no, you just sit there. Don't go. Yeah, no. Don't. I got a separate show I do with this whole thing. You just sit for this part. And I love that. The okay then. I'm watching a porn movie that I am somehow blending into and participant of, because so much of the way a male is trained now sexually is all porno training, and that's why, ladies, you'll find the guy you're having sex with just for no apparent reason starting to cheat out while he's doing it. Oh yes, sorry, you too. Do you have a camera in here? No, that's a security thing. That's a smoke alarm. Because I want to review the thing I just actually did to masturbate to. That weird detached screen world of ours, I'm having trouble with trying to live up to that male porno standard, which now is becoming an expectation. I'm sorry, I have a mere human penis. Look what they've given me to work with. Because now you go to one of those, sex toy stores. There's this giant fucking cock like that, giant with the veins and everything, and it's like this big, and there's no need for a human male after that. They have no place in your universe. There's no competing with that. That was like when I sat next to this dude I didn't know, but I was seeing Avatar, and he was like, "Yeah, I'd like to get me some of that big blue girl." Yeah. You think your little tiny, inconsequential crayon of a penis would even begin to register to something that's 25 feet fucking tall? So we lose all a sense of our own proportion, We're wearing crazy Magno goggles, Wow! She's a beauty! Woo! Oh. I'm not in the movie. I'm not in the porno movie. I'm trying to be in the porno movie, but I'm not. And it's hard because because you can start. I got a good start. And I run out of steam because I don't jog enough. And so I'll be like, yeah. That's what threesomes are great about. She'll say, women say, yeah, talk dirty to me. Talk fucking dirty to me. Except I can't run an erection and the poetry center of my brain at the same time. I'm 59 years old. My brain is shutting off like warehouse lights in rows. Ka-turn, 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 ka-turn. Ta-turn, where I parked. Ta-turn, where I live. Ta-turn, my mother's name. Ta-turn, my childhood, It's just the sad little guardhouse in the back of the warehouse with the radio playing and the German Shepherd going up and down the aisles, And that's why seeing a woman come is this extraordinary thing. You must keep your eyes open and see. We are predator hunters. That's what the male is. And you got to see that girl come and go, oh, fuck yeah. Finally, I figured out a trick she likes. Not this, but okay. Thank God, fuck, and that's why this exquisite, flowering, beautiful arc of chi that comes out when a girl comes, and that's why women simply must close your eyes when a man is coming, because it is a scarring, horrible fucking thing, damaging sight to see a. Happy place, go to a happy place, almost over, almost time for Conan, almost, write it out, little tiger, you know how to do this part, just get through it, and, I was expecting more, okay. Look at me!
Actually, I really don't want to shake your hand after that. I'd just like to say that every night of this show, it's been all deeply political subjects, and I'm glad, Rick, that the night I have relatives in the audience. So let's hear it for all the performers tonight. Now, I'm very happy we have an even mix of male and female tonight, because I don't count as either. I'm a straight man who resembles Katie Lang, but I agree with what you said, Rick. I think that porn is to actual sex what pro wrestling is to actual sports. Yeah, right. But it's the reality now, and we have an entire generation of young men in this world who are learning everything they know about human sexuality from a bunch of over-tattooed roid cases in the valley making hideous woman-hating porn all of which feature the same floral bedspread. And we hear a lot of stories about porn addiction and how porn is hurting marriage, but it's also quite possible porn is helping marriage. We have no way of knowing how many guys don't stray because they have a hard drive. So I guess my question, and I'll open it up to you first, do you think that porn can actually help make monogamy stronger?
Show me a couple that has not been. So let's just pop one of these on, see what the kids are doing. And trying something they saw on a video. A lot of couples are using them as references to keep spice within the relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yes, except for the fact that now modern porn, being what it is, everything has to top whatever was hot last year, and it just becomes like if aliens landed now and watched our porn, they would be forced to conclude that human females conceive children through the chin.
I think it has a lot to do with the type of porn that would come. Like if my husband was to bring me, ass sex, I'd be like, oh, no, you didn't. Like,
yes.
But if he was to bring me, I don't know, big black male 16. No.
So you're saying that men can be tone deaf?
Absolutely.
Well, so go ahead, Will.
I think porn is helpful. It taught me, first of all, I learned to masturbate through porn. I did. I actually.
You need to know it
I
involves
didn't
your
know.
hand?
But for years I masturbated backwards. I masturbated backwards because the guy I saw, I was like, oh, that's what I do. For years I did this. I was doing doggy style masturbating. I was masturbating doggy style.
That's how the commies do it.
That's actually men south of the equator all do that.
Yeah. I think also porn helps, like when my wife at the time couldn't or didn't want to, I would go watch porn and I didn't go find someone else.
Well, Felicia, do you buy that?
Well, I think everyone's different. Like when I was married, as I said, we didn't have sex for a long time, and sex was very problematic in my marriage. We didn't experience a lot of it, and I never masturbated during that whole time. Never once. So for us, porn wouldn't have been good. Now that I've been single, everybody watches porn, and everyone has escalated sex until this craziness. It's like, I'm no spring chicken, but guys that I'm dating in their 50s, like, they're so into pornographic images, and if you date someone after a first date, if you kiss or you do a little something, they'll send pictures of themselves to you.
Yes.
Like that's what porn has done, I think.
Yes. Men think women want to see what men want to see in porn.
Right, and it's first of all, it's so unfair because first of all, when a man takes a picture of their penis, they always do it the same way. They'll hold the smartphone like low, pointing up.
Yes, for
so
the
it's
Mount Rushmore
advantageous.
effect.
Or in front of something tall.
Oh,
But they'll do it in
time
front
to wax, Lincoln. Yeah.
They'll do it in front of something tall too, so the perspective is correct. And women, like, we, first of all, very rarely will take a picture of our vagina because, number one, a vagina is really hard to light correctly.
A little bit. It can be unpleasant to
It's
look
true,
at.
and you can't flash your vagina because then your clit will get red-eyed. And you can't translate the size of the vagina through a picture like a man can their penis, unless you do like what sellers do on eBay and photograph a quarter next to it or something. That's what porn has made sex now. It's made it this thing that's like not intimate at all.
Yes.
It's made it kind of crazy.
And you can't compete with men because you don't want your vagina to be, like you said, you want like a Cheerio next to it or something. You want it to look sweet and tight. You don't want to look at this thing and go, I want some vagina. You want some of this because it's not. It's sort of it's the opposite of what a man wants.
Yes, indeed.
Or man.
Well, I think that any man who sends unsolicited photos of his penis via email to a woman does not deserve cameras, women, computers, or a penis. But one important rule meant any woman online that you've only met online who really wants a picture of your penis probably already has a penis.
You know,
And it's probably bigger than yours. Yeah.
let me see what Christina said.
You know what I love? You know what I meant to say? I love you were grading her writing. No punctuation.
I never watch porn. And I'm being honest.
Yeah.
And it's not because I'm self-righteous or anything like that. It's actually more superficial than anything when I ever watch porn. And the reason why I've never watched porn is the people are ugly that are fucking, and I want to see ugly people fucking. I want to see really good-looking people fucking.
What
that
porn
turns
are
me
you
on.
watching?
I don't watch porn just for that reason.
No.
I don't.
You're going to uglyporn.com.
Something on Showtime.
Yeah, it's not the 70s anymore.
Yeah, and I don't like the fake breasts
Oh, I
that they
see,
look
yes,
too
yes.
manufactured. So that's not tittillating. No pun intended.
But you don't watch porn, so you wouldn't know.
I've watched porn only accidentally in soft porn. I've watched it on Showtime or HBO when it's popped up.
Right.
But I've never, and I'm not trying to be self-righteous.
Yeah.
I've never downloaded porn just because, here's what I found. When I was with my wife, I would just, believe it or not, I just wouldn't whack off for a few days, and then we'd have better sex because I would, just not masturbate.
Right.
We would have sex every week for years. Like we rarely went a week without sex.
Mm-hmm.
But I noticed if I saved up, it made the experience much better.
I'll keep that in mind. Thanks for the tip. Have sex with Gene. I want to shift gears. I want to shift gears for a second and get back to the monogamy issue, because there were two studies that came out from the UK this year that I want to share very briefly. One was the University College of London. They studied only primates to find out why humans became monogamous, and these anthropologists determined that males wanted to protect their young from being eaten by other males. And so in primates, that's why they became monogamous. Whereas at Cambridge, they studied over 2,000 species of non-human mammals, and they found that as creatures began to break up from herds and move out, the males gravitated towards the females to have a steady supply of sex. Humans did become monogamous for different reasons. It had nothing to do with love or romance. We had monogamy before we had romance, as opposed to now. And also, it had nothing to do with giving a child a two-parent household. That was just a fringe benefit. But in both cases, they came together. So it was kind of interesting. Monogamy is unnatural, and yet it's completely natural at the same time. Because other than Paul McCartney, most humans aren't biologically monogamous. So I guess my question is, in an era where we're so oversaturated by sex, where there's so much porn, and when the 2000 census showed for the first time there were more cohabiting couples in America than married couples, does it seem like marriage itself is an endangered species?
It seems realistically now, marriage is not destined with everything else that's going on. A lot of times when you look at guys that had mistresses, even presidents and things like that, that it was sort of, that monogamy was always closeted, or it wasn't true.
Right.
And so these guys, especially Catholics, they would have, chicks on the side, and the wife would look the other way. Even my wife had told me at one point, because I had had a blowjob like 7 years up to a couple months ago. She would flatter me.
Congratulations, Gene.
Thank you very much. She would flatter me and say she couldn't blow me because my penis was too big, right? And I knew that's not true. I'm like, no, it's not. You just don't want to do that, but that's a good way to get out of it, right?
Again, thanks for the tip.
No. So when I moved out like 4 months ago, then I hooked up with this chick and we hung out. And my wife hasn't dated anyone, right? We're still technically married.
Right.
We're living apart. But for me, I'm like, well, I don't have to be monogamous anymore. We're not living together anymore. So I can go out and about if I want, and I don't feel any sense of guilt or anything else.
Right.
But she's sort of the opposite, and I don't tell her about it, but I mean, it's just, so the monogamy thing, like, I fucked her for 19 years, no complaints.
And you stayed monogamous?
For the most part.
When he was in within 5
we didn't get married, not unlike yourself, but we didn't get married for 10 years. We were together for 10 years, we had a child, and we finally got married after 10 years, and we've been married 9 years. But when we weren't married, that was my weird, and I'm going to dwell on this, that was my weird Catholic out, where I'm like, well, I'm not married, so if I make out with some chick or I have sex with some chick, and there was only a couple, I mean, I wasn't like a pig. But I mean, I'm like, technically, I'm not cheating on my wife.
Right.
So part of it was when friends would say to me, well, you should marry her, you have a daughter with her, and then you can just cheat on her. I'm like, well, I don't want to fucking cheat on her. Why should I marry her if I'm with the intent of cheating on her? I'd rather cheat on her as my girlfriend.
Gene,
So you're
that is
romantic, you say. You're romantic.
so nice of you. That's great, guys.
Question. I don't think that marriage will, even though there's more people that live together than are married, I don't think marriage will be extinct or go out of fashion or things of that nature as long as we get tax breaks. Because as long, and this is
That's
the
very true.
practicalness of life. I'm going to be married to you because guess what? If I'm going to be giving you all the business, then I need to know when you die, I get everything.
Yeah.
And there's a difference in both people wanting to be married,
Yeah.
as opposed to one person turned 30 and you've been dating for a year, and now he or she wants to get married because you're both 30. That happens a lot. They have these milestones of age, and they feel like, oh, now I've got to get married. All my friends are getting married, or what I do is, well, in fact, both people should equally want to get married, ideally, to make it work.
But marriage has always been a business. It's never. I mean, you think about, like, I remember when I got married and we went to the whole thing of the what is that, registering and everything.
Yes, registering.
You go to Target and you sign up for the gifts.
I didn't know anything about it, and I remember I went. I was like, okay, we registered, and I was like, cool, football's on, I gotta go. And I didn't know. She was like, no, you gotta go around and start tagging what you. I was like, this is a job. I don't want a job to get married. And it's just from that day I knew. This is fucked.
Yeah, getting free stuff is awful, isn't it?
I didn't like it at all. I just thought marriage was always. I
Yeah,
just saw it as a
but it's
business.
not. But most people don't approach marriage like a business. It's not the tax deduction and all that stuff. Most people have this. First of all, a lot of opulent, stupid fucking weddings.
Yes.
And the woman is, you know, in this dress that she wears
Every
that
woman
was
hates you now.
$5,000, and then you throw it in the mud. And let's go out. You know, it's like it makes me so fucking mad to see that.
But that's that thing. That's my like. Isn't one of the reasons why we have such a hard time, such a high divorce rate, that we're a society that puts so much more importance on a wedding than a marriage.
Right.
Yes,
You focus
absolutely.
more on the day than the rest of your life.
Exactly right.
All right, now I'm
Absolutely.
drawing the line, honey. I'm gonna always get my way and do not. Y'all did the whole take away my fur and then you want to take away my diamonds. Take away
$30,000 on a wedding could be put towards a down payment and have a future for something
Right,
for
a
your
house.
Yeah.
children.
Everything
So
else.
I think that is so much more important to a foundation of a relationship than a dinner, like a stupid party where everything's overpriced.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
But I think if more people looked at marriage as a business,
Mm-hmm.
it would be less divorce. It would, because they would go, well, you cheated.
Well, and also it's the
Definitely.
partnership element.
Right.
Marriage has gone from a way of keeping women as property, and it's evolved.
Right.
And one of the things I like about my society is in the last 100 years, we've seen marriage evolve from keeping women as property to protecting women from douchebag guys.
So to defend weddings
Right.
in opulent ones,
They're great.
just like when you start a business, you have a great launch party.
Yes.
And that's what a wedding is. It's a great launch party.
Well, I mean, look, we have on this stage, we have married people, we have married people, we have divorced people, we have unmarried people. I think in this society, love is so hard to pull off. It's easy to be lonely. Whatever works. I'm a big believer in whatever works. You know, my wife, when she watched Big Love, she's like, oh yeah, if you have kids, polyamory. I get it. You want sister wives, right? Like, so I don't judge anyone's kind of relationship as long as no one's being exploited. I think that sex is only a sin if you're lying, if you're exploiting someone, or if you're doing it right. But my question is now, can open marriages work? If there's love and trust and honesty, and you don't believe in monogamy, but you do want to be committed to your life partner, can open marriages actually work?
Yes.
The fine print of it's the same page, but there's fine print.
It's happening.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's renegotiations.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't. God, I mean, I'm somebody who feels that marriage is hard. I mean, I don't have one of those. Some people have those marriages. They're writing about it on Facebook. I love you. Oh, I'm so glad I met you. And like, I'm not going to be posting that on Facebook. And my husband isn't going to be either. Although we love each other, but it's hard work.
Yeah.
And
But are you
then,
in love with each other?
I guess, yeah.
Well, the love can dissipate your way and evolve in a different direction, but it's still there.
Well, yeah, that's in love takes many forms. So go ahead.
But the thing is that if you do have an open marriage and you're living together and you're dealing with you're married and you're dealing with all of the difficulties and the stresses and the mundanities, if that's a word, of a marriage, and then you go out with somebody else and boy, that's nice. We're in a restaurant and nobody's not doing her homework and there's nobody's refusing to Swiffer and I mean whatever. all the shit that you deal with on an everyday basis, that becomes more attractive. And you are going to gravitate towards that until you end up living with that person and then it repeats itself.
I understand what you're saying. I think open marriages can work if you understand this rule. You can only, in any relationship, marriage that you enter in, the person that you enter in it with, you are only getting 80% of what you want. It's 80%. That's what you're going to get. It's not going to be 100%. Ain't nobody perfect. You're going to get 80%. Now, over time, you're going to start to miss that 20. With an open marriage, the trick is that when you go out and then the universe will present you with that 20%.
Right.
And then if you're in an open marriage, you can have fun with that 20%, but don't go and change and get that 20% and then you look up and you've lost 80%.
Right,
but you have to understand that rule.
Right, but what if you go get that 20% and then you think, oh, that 20% maybe could be 100%?
Well, then you're just an idiot. I mean,
That's human nature, though. Hey, the grass is always green.
But it's money and sex are the foundation of it. For marriage working or not working, it's always money and sex. That's the two things. I went to marriage counseling. And I was like, I went to marriage counseling, and that's what the lady said. And I was like, all right, I'll go, be a mature man. You know, so that's what my father would have done. And I ended up winning like 7 out of the 8 sessions.
I felt like she was, when we went to therapy, marriage counseling, I was like, she's cheating because she already knows the answers. But she would say the right things, like he's this and he's that. And I'm like, hey, bitch, you're fucking me over in this argument.
Yeah.
And I would get mad.
Therapists like that.
I would call her a bitch because she was a bitch at that point in time. In the argument. I was like, ah! Hey, I want to answer. And the therapist was like, yeah, Willis, you're fucking up. I mean, that's how I felt. I was like, man, if I could just read one of her books.
The therapist said you're fucking up to you?
No, he didn't say it, but he said
That's
it.
a shitty therapist.
He was just kind of like, like he gave me that
Oh,
look.
you go. Yeah.
Marriage counselors are peculiar also because mine was divorced. So I thought that was where it's
Physician, heal thyself.
Well, sometimes divorce is the answer, though.
Cathy was talking about the 70s and the era of free love, and Rick, you're old enough to remember Quaaludes.
Had a very good time.
But did it really change? Because I thought the 80s were a great big sex party, and the 90s were. It just college doesn't seem to have changed that much. Just porn has become more prevalent. Have sexual mores changed that much in 40 years? I mean, you see someone who's 70 now. They were freaks in the 70s.
Well, it was okay to cry back then, but now it's a deal breaker.
After or during?
Let's walk on the beach and tell me how you're feeling. And I'm in acting class, and Get one fucking tear. Just get me through this, you know. And then they switch it, and now it's all. Remember what an action hero used to look like back in the 70s? You had those skinny fucking just dude on the beach arms, and now you got to be this giant steroided thing.
That's true.
Well, so in a lot of settings where a heterosexual dead center is set, is now this giant, muscular, tiny thumb head moron thing, you know. Tough and mean seems to there's a tough and mean factor in it, and there's some weird manner of subconscious safety and all that. But as I say, I'm having more and more trouble becoming someone I hate to get someone I want.
Well, that seems the real change, I guess. It's not so much free love as free sex now. I mean, it seems like it was more about love then.
Yeah, it was
Technology's changed
it's
a
really
lot.
shallow.
With Snapchat and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and online dating has changed that because now, like when I got divorced, I went on to online dating, which was great because it got me back into having to talk to men again and practice on that. But then the thing is, because it was so easily accessible to find someone new, if I'm dating someone and he makes one little mistake, it's like, fuck you, I'm going back on online dating. I think it's really messed up a lot of people because before, it took a while to meet someone if you broke up or you got divorced. And now, if you break up with someone, you're automatically got something.
But isn't that empowering? I mean, before, if you wanted to meet someone you could love, your options were bars, your job, or a church. Right? I mean, in the last 10 years, it's really changed, and it's a lot easier to meet someone that you might be able to find real romance.
Well, it's a lot easier, but then when you're with someone, one tiny little mistake will make you change the whole relationship because it's so accessible. Whereas before, you would have to tolerate someone didn't comb his hair correctly. Now you're like, screw that dude. It could be something that stupid.
Wait a second, didn't you have your hair parted on the other side? Good God.
Who's wearing linen in October? I want someone that knows how to dress appropriately for the season. They just go.
Well, that's easy in LA.
Well, I've never done the online dating sites, but I mean, I know people that have. I can see where that's an option, and it makes sense because you can get like your faith, you know, if you're a Christian or if you're Jewish or whatever it is. You can, a Scientologist, you go, all right, I want to go to the Scientologist. I want to find someone who's going to have all these things. But you know,
how are those Scientology dating sites? I have a beard, wife, and a pilot license.
So you can get so ultra.
Are you a Scientologist?
No! It's a Scientologist going, hey, I need to go on the dating site. Why didn't you just show up to the meeting?
Dianetics is not working. I need to go on the site.
Oh, God.
Christian Mingle, yeah. Find God's match for you, and then if it doesn't work out, blame God for being a shitty yenta. Nobody's perfect, Well, so let me ask, is anyone here who was married and not, or those who've never been married? I think Cathy, you're the only. Cathy and Kate, you're married now.
Yeah.
Everyone else isn't. Would you like to get married again, or do you think that that's something you don't need to repeat or experience ever?
It's a destination rather than a journey. And I really am very journey-oriented. I'm much more possessed film than a standard rom-com. I know, who cares what fucking dog won? I'm lapping everything right up to that point.
Well, you know, somebody asked me today if made some comment about, when Tom's done, then you're going to get married again. And I said, no. No, I've done it. That's fine. I'm done. And look, I say that, and maybe I would do it again. I don't know, but it's hard. Mm-hmm. It's really fucking hard. And you know what? I like living alone. I lived alone for a long time, and I really like it. And I'm not saying I don't like living with my family. I really like living with my family. They're fun. They're funny. We have a great time. It's supportive. But I do love my solitude. And marriage is no panacea.
Yeah, well, I think you're right, and I don't think it's a matter of what's natural and what's not natural. I think you know if something's not natural for you. You know, if you're not cut out for marriage, then that's not natural. If you're a gay person trying to live a straight life, that's not natural. And being true to yourself without hurting other people seems to be the way to do it. And that's why I think, as a culture, we have to get over judging people.
I think I've had people say that same question about because my husband is 10 years older than me. you know, I always envision like the end, like the Notebook. We cuddle up, we both die together.
And he forgets you.
But no, he thinks, and then I wake up, and you know, I go find like the hot guy that's the pool boy next door. So. I really, when I get old, I really want to be a terror amongst young men.
I'm so glad you feel that way.
I'm going to thank you for putting me between these three. I thank you, seriously. And with the way they think, I'm going to have sex forever.
Do you ever want to get married again?
I don't know.
Would you like to get married again?
I don't know if I would get married again. I would live with a woman.
Do black men have a harder time than white guys when it comes to marriage in this culture?
Never married a white man. But I don't know if they have it harder. I think they have more higher expectations. Like white guys, I think their expectation is, yeah, you're gonna pay all the bills. The black guys, like, yeah. I think if I married a woman and she came in the house and I was smoking weed, looking at porn, she'd be like, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. But if maybe one woman, but yeah, I guess so. I mean, seriously, like,
but if you're a good
expectation,
but if you're a good man and you love your partner, she's not going to mind coming home and finding you smoking weed and
But I don't smoke weed, and I mean, I watch porn, but
Come on. I actually think black men have it made.
Why?
Because the numbers alone in this country, there are 5 million more black women than black men, period.
But
good
black women.
Sure.
Like, there are black.
Why do y'all get mad when I dated one?
The black women that are able that you can date, that you want, that for me, I want to date. They're not. I'm like, I'll fuck you. But some of them, their mentality is like, I'm like, yo, chick, you gotta slow up.
But I think that's because.
And I love black women, because my mama's black.
Yeah. Mine too.
Right.
Mine too.
Is that going to break down? Do you think that now that it's not just the first black president, the first mixed race president, the president born of different race parents, do you think that that's going to just open the door even more to get rid of color lines when it comes to love and dating?
I'm writing a book called A Black Girl's Guide to White Men.
Mm-hmm.
Because the numbers are the numbers. And even when it comes to education, there are 1.5 million more black women that have degrees than black men. And so if you want, it's like if a black woman said that Go ahead,
please.
Go ahead.
The reason, to answer your question, why is it more black women that have education? Being educated wasn't seen as being cool. You know what I mean? Like that, being smart isn't cool. I've dated more, like I don't have my degree, but all the women that I've dated, and usually I'm with, have either postgraduate degree. I've dated lawyers, I've dated doctors, I've dated scientists, I've dated all these people that are generally
Bookers? You've dated a booker?
Yes, I've dated everything.
And that's while he was married.
And a beautician, because I need my hair.
Well, okay, now I want to just wrap it up, and I want to just ask everyone to give their final thought on marriage and monogamy and sex, and then tell us where we can follow you and follow your work, starting with you, Gene.
Well, I will say this. I personally would get married again if she had a good job. I'm not being facetious. Only because I like being with someone that has a passion in life. That I don't want to just come home to a housewife. I want to come home to someone who also does something. You know, my ex was still is a vice president for CBS International. She travels a lot. She's very smart. We have great conversations. You know, but aside from that, I would only get married again if I was truly in love with her and I thought she would have my son. Because I kind of wouldn't mind having one more child, but it's not a necessary evil. Mm-hmm. It's just something I wouldn't mind. But you know, that said, I don't really have a take on it. I'm a little bit like you, which I'm surprised to hear that from you, that you didn't get married for 10 years with your wife.
Yes.
Right? And you know, my feeling was, quite frankly, people that would cast judgment, I was like, you know what? It's when the marriage getting unmarried is very complicated. So you're not going to pay for this divorce. And why should I, if this is someone that I was just dating briefly and she got pregnant, Why would I go into the house of God and lie in the house of God and say, yeah, I'm eternally devoted to this woman? I'm not. It doesn't fix anything.
Mm-hmm.
My job is to be a good father. I have to be a good father to this child. The child didn't sign up for that.
There's always Vegas, you know.
Yeah, well, she wanted, here's the thing, because we waited 10 years.
Right.
I thought that she deserved a little bit bigger wedding, so. And also the housing market was doing well, so we started waiting. And it worked out, to a certain extent, worked out fine.
How can people follow you?
Follow me on Twitter or Facebook, Gene Pompa.
Thank you very much.
I don't think I'm ever going to get married again, and it's taken me, it's now 4 years since I've been divorced, and it's taken me literally 4 years to understand that about myself, because as a woman, when you get divorced, or even if you're not married, there's so much pressure for you to be with a man. Like, you even don't have value if you don't have a man next to you.
Yes.
And because I have kids, I just don't, and while my kids are in the house, I don't ever want to be in pizza-stained pajama bottoms, at the sink doing dishes, screaming at my kids in front of the man whose dick I want to suck. Follow me on Twitter at
And let me know what time they get home from school. Willis.
My thought on marriage, sex, and monogamy is it's like a Hemingway novel. Really, you don't really appreciate it when you're younger, but as you get older, you look back on it and go, "Wow, that really was a good book."
And then you shoot yourself in the head.
Right.
Where can folks follow you?
You can follow me on Twitter, Willis Turner 1, and I'm on Facebook and WillisTurner.com.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, sir. You know what? This is how stupid I am. Kay West invited me out for drinks last night, and I said, no, I'm so tired I can't go. So she went out without me and wound up drinking with Bono at the Four Seasons. So I've been punked for life. What are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts are, do what works for you. Do what works for you, and do what works for the person that you love. And hopefully those two things match. That's what I hope and I wish for all of you. And so far as following me, you cannot follow me any fucking where because I love my privacy. But if you want to see me on Thursday around 9 p.m. on ABC, call them motherfuckers because I need a job.
Well, I'll just tell you a little anecdote. So,
Please.
Something between me and my husband that has happened periodically over these several years we've been married, almost 17 years. And I have said to him, thank you. I occasionally have said to him, are you having an affair? Just like out of a moment of insecurity. And his response was, like, I need that. No, it wasn't, no, I love you. I would never do that. It was just that he didn't want to do the paperwork, basically. So, anyway, this was great fun. And you can follow me on Facebook or at why do I say CathyLadman.com or Twitter at CE Ladman.
Thank you very much. Overton.
You could not be asking the wronger guy on earth, but
No, but you're the only bachelor. You're the only guy on this stage that never got married.
women, I can't live with them, and evidently they can't live with me.
How can people follow you in your work?
You can follow me at rickoverton. net. And because Calm was taken by the jazz guy who doesn't like me, Rick Overton. His religion doesn't, well, I like him. I like his jazz. Anyway. And then there's also Overview on iTunes, my podcast, and got some fun. And John's going to be coming up in one soon. So those two, follow me on Twitter, @Rick Overton.
I want to thank everyone for coming this evening. This has been a very political series every night. We've done like online privacy in the NSA, and we tomorrow night is our final evening. Hal Sparks and Mr. Overton will be here for that show, and that's going to be on the two-party system. So it was really fun for me to take a break and talk about stuff people actually care about rather than the future of the world. You know, relationship advice for me is like tax tips from Willie Nelson. But I will say I believe in codependent perverts. Find someone who's as big a freak as you, who is as needy as you, and you can make it work. But again, if there's anything this proves, there's love is like religion. It's not one size fits all. And find what's right for you, and just be good, and be good to the one who's good to you. And you've been very good to us. It's been an honor to play for all of you tonight. Thank you for coming out to this place.